Peace. How is everybody doing? Giving honor to the creator of heaven and earth. My name is Yeshaya Yisrael. This is not intended to be long, but just wanted to lean back, if I will, a little bit. I don't use this channel much, but I understand that the spokesperson, if we will, the guy, Kevin Samuels, has passed away from what I'm understanding. I'm also understanding that there are people who are celebrating or are celebrating the person's death. Now, of course, we all know that is tacky. You understand? It is tacky to sit there and celebrate the death of anybody. Now, why do I call this Sharazad Ali / Kevin Samuels? Sharazad Ali wrote a book called The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man. And in her book, The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man, she said that the black man is unproductive. She said in her book that the black man has been known to sleep with anywhere from the amount of 10 to 500 women. That's what Sharazad Ali has stated. Now, Sharazad Ali went on the talk show in the 1990s and said, in quote, shalom to everybody in the room. Sharazad Ali went on a talk show and said that if you take away basketball and football, where is the black man? She said that. Sisters agreed with her. Brothers didn't agree with everything she stated, and so forth and so on. I've read Sharazad Ali's books. How Not to Eat Pork, I read that book. I read her other book, The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man. And I read her book, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. And in that book, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman, she said that if the black man showers the black woman with gifts, that she's going to give him some sex. In her book, correct me if I'm wrong, she didn't use the terminologies like some, not all, perhaps a few. She didn't use those terms. It was blatant, the black woman, the black man. So my point in emphasizing that is this. Though personally, I didn't agree with everything she said, and I do not agree with everything she says, and I do not agree with everything Kevin Samuel says, it is tacky to sit there and to celebrate the death of somebody. I'm an Israelite. Always will be, always was. The woman who's now deceased, my mother, taught me about this way of life. Now, I do not agree with everything the historian Dr. Clark wrote. He passed away in the 1990s. He used to teach in City College. I will not, taking the history that I studied and read, celebrate the death of John Henry Clark, who essentially said, my faith is in so many words, that it's not what it is, the truth, in so many words. Dr. Clark, by default, stated that what my mother, unbeknown to him, taught me was a lie. See, when you can break it down and expound upon it in that way, then we can see how it's tacky to celebrate the death of somebody. John Henry Clark is celebrated and respected by many people. I read his book, Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust. Very good book. I do not agree with everything John Henry Clark stated. He passed away over 20 years ago. Should I, as the House of Israel, celebrate the death of somebody? That's tacky. Even if you disagree, even if you think it's a bold-faced lie. You don't do those kind of things and let your memory be known for celebrating somebody's death. Now, certain things Kevin Samuel stated I disagreed with. certain things Sharazad Ali stated was blatant disrespect according to some people's views. She even spoke and said Malcolm X tried to take over the nation and it wasn't successful. She went in layman terms ham in her book. For those who know who I'm talking about and read it and saw her on the talk shows and saying things like if the black woman want to do something, it's a trick. Don't trust her. The black woman can't be trusted with money. She went in on her book about titled The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman and subtitled it by saying, read it before she does. So in other words, she's saying she's going to tell you about your lady that you don't know, brother. Some sisters got in their feelings about her about her writing that book. Some sisters got in their feelings maybe about Kevin Samuels. But one thing that's stated is this: only a hit dog will bark. I'm an Israelite. When Dr. York was running the Nuwabian thing and he wrote his book, 360 Questions to Ask a Hebrew Israelite, I'm not going to, excuse my language, bullshit you. It made me get my study up. I state again, I'm an Israelite, was and always will be. When Dr. York wrote his book, when he was dealing with the Nuwabian thing in Adenton, Georgia, or wherever he was at, and he wrote a book called 360 Questions to Ask a Hebrew Israelite. If I'm saying this is the faith and the understanding, the nationality and the culture that my mommy taught me, then why should I not take his book and try to answer the questions? And if I can't answer them, let me ask my teachers. I'm not going to say, oh, those questions is bullshit. I'm not going to sit there and deal with it. Just admit you got to get your study up, young blood. That's all it is. So using these different examples, using these different matters and so forth and so on, again, it is tacky to talk about the death of somebody and praising it. Because again, only a hit dog barks. So anybody up there talking about, oh, well, good for that person, they're gone or whatever like that, we all gonna be there. That's a promise. When you were born, your death has already started. It's a promise. Some people's deaths come later than others. That's a promise. But you don't want to be left leaving a memory and celebrating the death of another person. Just say you think what they wrote or stated is bullshit and move on with your life. But for you to stop and celebrate, that means you're guilty of what they talked about. We're going to keep the language a little cleaner. All right, peace to everybody. Shalom.